Relief today.
Does your house have that closed-up smell? Do you feel like you're dusting more frequently? Have you noticed an increase in allergy symptoms? It might be time to have your air ducts clean. Call a Logan-based business, The Duct Hunter, at 435-770-4813 for a quote and to schedule an appointment.
We are the Duct Hunter. Breathe better, save money, protect your home. We are the Duct Hunter.
Hi, I'm Dr. Shelley Flace with today's tip for kids from the American Academy of Pediatrics. If you own firearms, it's your responsibility to make sure they're always stored safely. Hiding them in a closet or drawer is not enough. Kids know where they are. Research shows the risk of injury and death is lower if guns are stored unloaded and locked up, with the ammunition locked in a separate place. This is important when children are young, as well as when they grow into teenagers. For more, talk with your pediatrician or visit healthychildren.org.
It's time for the Garden Guide with your host, Mark Anderson from Anderson Seed and Garden.
New research suggests that people are more likely to eat vegetables if they have a tempting name.
What would life be without homegrown tomatoes? Only two things that money can't buy, and that's true love and homegrown tomatoes.
From gardening to landscaping.
Today we are going to try and create garden eyebrows. Kind of like the flowers are sprouting directly from your hair. That makes sense.
Phone lines are open at 753-KVNU or 800-369-KVNU.
Kind of like eating vegetables.
It's the Garden Guide, now on KVNU 610 AM and 102 FM.
And we welcome you to the show. The Garden Guide here on KVNU on this Saturday morning, which originally, as we started looking ahead to the weekend, this weekend was going to look pretty rainy and snowy, but now it looks like you could get out and do a little bit of gardening with just a small chance of some rain this morning, increasing throughout the day. So maybe next couple hours might be the best time to do it.
I got a part of my garden tilled this week.
Did it?
Yes. So it's like, since we did some construction last year, we have so many rocks. Like I've never had rocks in my garden and in Dad's garden, but this year we do. So I did a lot of rock raking, but I was able to till one section where I can put peas and spinach and onions and lettuce and so I'm hopeful that tonight I'll be able to get some stuff
get
planted,
a little in,
because I like to get those planted in March. So if at all possible, all your early crops should go in like now.
Yeah.
Like as soon as you can as soon as you can get out there. So we're talking peas, spinach, lettuce, radishes, onions, cabbage, cauliflower, broccoli, kale. Those can be planted like right now. Even if it snows next week, they don't care.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't care. So got my garden tilled and it looked really nice. I have to admit, it looked really, really good. We put a lot of organic matter out there last year, did some compost, did some mushroom compost, did a whole bunch of different things. So the soil looked really, really good. Except for the rocks. Yeah. Too much road base, too much gravel put on my garden last year. Yeah, I'm not thrilled. Ooh. So in the fall, it's like I went home one day and all this stuff was there in my garden. It's like, I don't think we discussed dumping all that in my garden. So I was not thrilled.
But it's kind of one of those things, removing the rocks from the garden.
Yeah. You deal with what you got to deal with. So it's all right. But exciting weather this week. I mean, it was beautiful. Yeah. So we had tons of people coming in and getting bare root trees and getting bare root raspberries and all the blueberries and blackberries and currants. They're all in stock. I've got a great selection of honeyberries. I've got 2 honeyberries right now, asparagus, strawberries. Just got new strawberries in yesterday, and potatoes are here. Onion plants are here. So we're ready to go. We're ready to rock and roll. Yeah, that's right.
Well, and looking ahead to the weather forecast for this week, coming into the next work week, now would be a great time to get those plants started because you've got a lot of moisture that's going to be coming in the forecast.
Absolutely. And then yesterday we just got another batch of bare root trees in. So some new varieties that I haven't had yet this year are here. And then this week, I don't know why they're sending them so late. I've got another shipment of trees coming this week too, with more varieties that we don't have in stock right now. So so we've got more peaches, more apricots, more nectarines, more apple varieties. Yeah. It's just this is a great time to be outside, and I think I'm going to add a few trees to my orchard this year. So I think I'm going to be out planting some fruit trees this week too. So,
Great.
Yeah.
Well, we can talk about bare root. We can talk about how to get your lawn ready, because now's the time to be getting fertilizer on your lawn.
It is.
Put some humate down.
Yeah, I've had a lot of people come in and ask, is it too late to prune my trees? And it's like, oh, no, not too late. It's like perfect right now because the trees haven't really budded out or anything. Mm-hmm. And we're doing another class this Thursday at Anderson. So we've got our pruning class, and this is with J.D. Gunnell, our USU extension agent for Cache County. And JD's going to be teaching a class on Thursday at 6:30. And if you want to participate, I've never had anybody complain about the class ever. Everybody afterwards, they're just like, that was awesome. I learned so much stuff. So this is a really instructional, hands-on type class with J.D. Gunnell from USU Extension, but you have to sign up on USU Extension's website. So you got to sign up for it so it at least knows how many people are coming. And I think our capacity is 32. So we can get 32 people in there. And the last class we did with JD was like packed. It was full. So this is a great class to participate in. I don't believe there is a cost for it. If there is, it's minimal. It's like $5 or $10. Yeah, it's really, really inexpensive. And it's a great opportunity to learn how to prune your own trees.
Okay.
Yeah, great opportunity.
That's going to be Thursday night.
Thursday night at 6:30 at Anderson's, but you have to sign up on USU's website.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we can take a lot of calls today. If you've got a question or a comment for Mark Anderson of Anderson Seed and Garden, we'll take those calls at 753-5868. Of course, we've also got a guest that we're going to introduce coming up in just a minute. But first, real quick, at Anderson Seed and Garden this weekend, what's going on?
So we've got bare root sale is going on, and in addition to the bare root sale, we have our shade and flowering tree sale going on. So our 5-gallon shade and flowering trees, and we've moved most of those out into the parking lot so you can find them really easy. So they're just kind of out there in the parking lot. They're starting to bloom. So I've got some trees that are starting to bloom, and they look awesome. They're 30% off right now. So if you want to plant some shade or some flowering trees, got a great selection. They're 30% off regular price. You can't beat it. That goes along with all of our bare root fruit trees that are also discounted about 25 to 30% off regular price because they're bare root. And so we've got a little bit of everything: apples, pears, nectarines, plums, cherries, peaches, apricots. I've got some pluots. I've got some pluaries. If you want to try some combo fruits, those are kind of fun. So they're really different. I've got some full dwarf peaches that only get 6 feet tall. So we've got a lot of really cool stuff to try. Some full genetically dwarfed trees. So yeah. So some really fun stuff. And then all the small fruits are in too: raspberries, strawberries, blueberries, blackberries. Grapes are coming this week. Honeyberries, currants, gooseberries. We've got like everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
So bare root sale going on this weekend.
All happening at Anderson's.
And shade trees and others.
And we did get the pansies planted on Center Street. So Center Street's really colorful.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they look really, really good. So Rudy's grew those for us. We had them grow some little bit bigger pansies, and they look awesome. They look awesome. So, yeah, so if you have been kind of feeling neglected because there wasn't a lot of color on Center Street, well, we remedied that this week.
Very good.
So it's very, very colorful right now. Really colorful. And the pansies are taking off, so they're in full bloom. They look really, really good. So,
great time to be able to get pansies in. I was by the shop on Wednesday with my daughter, and those pansy flats you've got still on sale.
Yeah, so we got pansies on sale. We've got primroses. We got a whole bunch of ranunculus in, and I think they disappeared already because they were so
real fast.
They were so pretty. Yeah, they just like disappeared out the door. So hopefully we got some more of those in as well too. We have some flowering. We have some flowering perennials that came in like yesterday.
Okay.
And we also have all of our small, like our vegetable plants. So cabbage, cauliflower, broccoli, kale. We've got plants they're ready to go outside. So you could put them outside today, maybe put little hot caps over them just to help them get established outside. But we've got all those vegetable plants in stock as well too. So we're ready to roll at Anderson's. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Stuff's coming in, and spring is here, and April's just around the corner.
I know.
Yes, I'm just like, what happened to March?
Yeah, it just went by
It's
so
been a cold.
fast.
It's been a cold, wet month. It's been kind of cold and wet, so everybody's a little bit slow getting going because every time you turn around it snows, and we haven't had a lot of opportunities to get out there and plant in the garden. But things dried out this week, so you should be able to get outside and get some stuff planted.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's bring on our guest. We have Doug Washburn, who's joining us on the line this morning. And Mark, you want to introduce Doug?
Yeah, so this is Doug from Agrono-Tec Seed, and Doug's our resident grass expert. So good morning, Doug.
Good morning. Good morning.
Great to have you on the show this morning, and thanks for taking the time to visit with us and hang out, and we're going to talk some grass, hopefully.
Good. Let's get some calls coming in on grass.
Sounds good. Hey, Doug, I've had a bunch of people in already this spring, and they've had some vole damage in their turf. And we didn't have a whole lot of snow cover, but some of our residents and gardeners have had some vole damage still. And they were asking, what should I do to fix that? How can I take care of that? Any suggestions on what to do for vole damage that's been out there?
Well, this time of year, people should be raking their lawn, getting it to fluff up a little bit.
Yes.
And they should be starting to get their aerification done if they haven't done that already. The ground is nice and soft, and It's a good time to punch some holes.
It's moist. It's moist, and so you can run that aerator through there a lot easier. And we've been out aerating like crazy. So if you need someone to come aerate for you, I have to admit that is the hardest work I've ever done in my entire life.
Running an
aerator. Yeah, it's like that sucker will beat you up. So let somebody else come and do it for you. And Anderson Seed and Garden and Logan Extermination, we have a ride-on aerator, and so it doesn't beat you up as much. And if we can get it in through like a 4-foot gate, so if you've got 4-foot access into your backyard, we can pull that aerator in there, and it pulls like 4-inch plugs. It pulls nice deep plugs because of the weight of the machine, and then you've got a person on top of it, actually running it, and so it gives it even more weight. So it's awesome.
Yeah, I would suggest for people who have that size of a yard and stuff, they'll probably have some sprinklers out in their lawn area. It would be good for them to get some little flags or something, and so you don't damage those.
We usually recommend that they mark their sprinkler heads so we don't have sprinkler issues. Yeah,
exactly.
So it has happened before.
Yeah, exactly, but as far as the voles go, if you're in the process of doing what we've just described, then after you punch your holes and do all that, then you need to throw down some seed to fill in the damage done by the voles.
Right.
So, and it's an excellent time of year to do what nature would have loved to do back fall, but wasn't able to do because of our cultural practices. But putting some fresh new seed in there that gets into those holes. Remember that when you do aerify, which is a very essential step in turf management, you do thin out your lawn when you do that to a degree. And if you do not fill the holes with proper seed, then Mother Nature will probably do it for you, and you'll get your weed seeds that get into those holes.
Get some weeds, yeah. So when you aerate and you leave those holes, which is really, really good for your soil, all of a sudden you've got this gap where there's no grass seed, and eventually the grass roots will fill back in there. But Mother Nature, enough weed seeds get in there, all of a sudden they've got a spot to take. So
exactly, they got a space to take, and so. Here again, it doesn't take that much to throw a little seed out there, and the results are outstanding. A lot of time when you see those lawns that green up sooner in the springtime, they're probably younger lawns. If you had thrown some seed out there in the fall, your lawn would be greener sooner than your neighbors who's got those older varieties of grass and aren't as youthful and as hardy.
Right.
So
And there's a lot of new varieties that green up much earlier in the season now. So
exactly.
That's a real benefit of adding new varieties to your turf. You know, say you planted your grass 20 years ago. You know, in the last 20 years, you've got some varieties that really green up really early and have some drought tolerance and some insect resistance and some disease resistance. And all of a sudden, your grass is so much easier to maintain.
It's easier to maintain, doesn't grow as fast. It's got insect resistance and heat tolerance and all these great features, and which means less work, less chemicals, less clippings, less everything that we want to get to. We want a nice green lawn that keeps the weeds and dirt out without a lot of work and impact on the community. And let's not ever forget that 1,000 square feet of grass will generate enough oxygen to sustain a family of 4. So we need what turf brings to us in the form of recreation and health-wise as well. I mean, you know, we need that oxygen that plants generate.
Yep. And more trees.
And more trees, you know. So it's a really good use of our water resource and cooling the environment and just making it a more pleasant place mentally, recreationally and physically. It's good to get out there and smell the freshly mowed grass.
Yeah. You can tell the difference if you've got a yard that's landscaped with rock or lava rock, and compared to the property next door that's got turf out there. You can tell the difference in the heat. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like instantly you can feel the difference in the heat. And a lot of turf gets a bad rap because it's water needy, but there's a lot of really amazing varieties out there that you don't need to water that much, but then you get all the benefits of the turf. So it's going to filter dirt, it's going to filter dust, it's going to keep water from running off of your property, it's going to absorb that in, pull it down into the soil, it's going to create oxygen, it's going to cool, it's going to keep weeds down. I mean, there's so many benefits to turf, and I feel slightly disappointed that sometimes people are like pulling all their turf out to landscape, and it's like, all right, that's like multiple dollars per square foot to be able to replace that, and you can put a very, very drought tolerant grass out there that we're talking 5 cents a square foot. You know, maximum, 5 cents a square foot. And it's so inexpensive, and it's really easy to maintain. And when it comes down to it, you're really not using that much more water to maintain that, with a cooler environment and all the other benefits that go along with it, to tear your yard out and put down stuff that's going to generate more heat. So, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah, next time you go outside and take in a big whiff of clean oxygen, thank a plant.
Yeah, exactly right.
So getting back to my vole question. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna rake the turf. Like I put humate on my lawn a couple of weeks ago, and it's really starting to green up already. So about 2 weeks ago, we hit it with the humate, and it's ready to be mowed. So we could go out there and rake, mow, do that early first mowing, aerate the turf, add some grass to it, some grass seed, broadcast the grass seed on there. Usually what I'll recommend is after you broadcast the grass seed in, rake it lightly with a leaf rake so it brushes the grass and the seed's going to fall down into the holes better. And then, a little bit of moisture if Mother Nature doesn't provide. A little bit of fertilizer would be great. If you're overseeding, make sure not to use a pre-emergent because it's going to stop your seed from coming up. So no pre-emergent if you're going to overseed. And, depending on which grass you put out there, you could have grass seed coming up in 14 to 21 days. So it doesn't take too long.
Doesn't take too long, and I'm telling you, it looks so much better now. In my travels, the professionals, golf courses, and institutions and stuff, they're prepping their ground right now. They're throwing some seed, and so if you want to do what the professionals are doing, that's what they're doing, throwing some seed and a little bit of fertilizer. And, your fertilizer application, if you put too much, you're going to be baling it. You're going to be looking for a hay baler. But just give it a little bit of a application of fertilizer to get it to wake up and green up, and you'll be off to the races.
Yep, absolutely. Now, any particular varieties of grass that you would recommend for filling in a turf where you don't necessarily know exactly what kind of grass you've got? So, quite frankly, I've got a lot of customers that will come in, they'll say, hey, I need to replace this spot. We had to dig a trench or had some vole damage. And I'm like, okay, what kind of grass have you got? And there's like silence. And they're like, I don't know.
I have no idea.
I moved into that house like 5 years ago and it was already there. I don't know what it is. So any recommendations for that type of situation?
Well, the predominant grass in the Utah market is bluegrass. If your lawn was sodded, it was probably 100% bluegrass.
Yeah.
And you got to ask yourself, how's that working for me? If you've got places where due to dog damage, or maybe you got a shade tree now, you put up a fence, you're getting some shade, you're not getting the growth that you're looking at. You're looking at more dirt than grass. Then you need to say, well, this isn't working for me. Let's put something else in. And so if you do want to be a contributor to saving water, but have your cake and eat it too, then the tall fescues are a great way to do it. And Mark's Mix is got a lot of tall fescue in it.
Yeah. And the Eden as well too. I had a lot of people growing Eden last year, and they really, really liked it with that dwarf tall fescue in there, and the very self-repairing bluegrasses that are really drought tolerant. So that's been a great option as well too.
Exactly. So you can modify the turf that you have, which if it is 100% bluegrass, then overseeding it with Mark's Mix or Eden, you're integrating some of these newer dwarf turf type tall fescues, and so it's not that difficult to do. I mean, all you're doing again is after you aerify, you throw these other grasses in, and within 14 days, you're going to start seeing little sprouts, and over time they'll become part of that environment, and you'll be receiving the rewards of what those grasses bring to the party.
Oh yeah. So we're talking insect resistance. So like I haven't had to apply an insecticide to my turf for probably, Doug, I think 18 years. Was the last time we put an insecticide on, because we've introduced these new varieties of grass into our turf. So I've not applied an insecticide for 18 years. And I think last year was the first year that I actually had to spray for weeds in a decade, because the weeds were just so bad last year. So they'd finally gotten a little bit out of control, but I still didn't have to spray the whole turf. I just went out and spot treated a few areas. So it does make a huge difference. And I can't think of a single time that I've used a disease control on my turf, like ever, because I've got turf type rye out there, and it just resists the diseases. And some of these newer varieties of bluegrass, they look so good. They're so soft and just a lot more resilient, a lot more drought tolerant, and they look so good. They're just so green and pretty. So.
Well, those of us in the seed industry, there are plant breeders who spend their whole working career, develop varieties that are going to be more conducive to the environment, not a big impact on the environment. So what you're describing, Mark, is exactly what they're trying to do is to decrease, if not eliminate, the need for fertilizers and pesticides and all these things that create havoc in the environment. I know that in the upper Midwest, they don't like using phosphorus because it gets into the runoff and goes out to the Great Lakes and stuff. So they're very vigilant about fertilizer usage. You get into the Canada and into the European countries, they're very vigilant about non-use of broadleaf chemicals and stuff. So there's ways to combat the need for that, and the real answer is creating a very dense environment so that weeds have a difficult place to get a root, get established. So thickening up your lawn with plant population, overseeding and stuff is vital to those things.
Yes, and it really does make a difference. Yeah, your lawn looks better, less water, less insects, and definitely fewer weeds too. We're going to take a quick break.
Yeah, we're already at the bottom of the hour, and we'll come right back, talk more with Doug Washburn of Agrono-Tec Technologies, and we can take your calls at 753-5868 for the Garden Guide here on KVNU. 30 minutes after the hour, and with your KVNU News update, I'm Will Feelright. Well, crews are still cleaning up after a delivery truck mistake led to more than 1,300 gallons of oil being spilled 2 weeks ago behind a gas station in Hiram. Now, there's no threat to the public, according to Ashley Summer, who's a spokeswoman for the Utah Department of Environmental Quality. However, she said residents should avoid the Salt Hollow Park pond and the incident area around it as the cleanup continues. Now, back on March 14th, crews responded to the reported spill just behind the Hiram Shortstop Sinclair gas station. The response team was able to stop the oil before it reached U.S. waterways, according to a spokesperson from the Environmental Protection Agency. Now, Summer said that they are overseeing the cleanup to ensure that the pond and the canal no longer are impacted by the spill. And Utah Governor Spencer Cox said he would not veto it on the last day to make decisions on bills that passed the legislature. He also did not sign a measure that would end prominent displays of pride flags in schools and public buildings. Instead, Cox decided to let House Bill 77 become law without his signature. Now, the governor wrote to House Speaker Mike Schultz and Senate President Stuart Adams that he continues to have serious concerns with the bill, but because a veto would be overridden, he had decided to allow the bill to go into law without his signature. Now, he urged lawmakers to consider common sense solutions, though, that address the bill's many flaws. The governor said that he understands parents' concerns with culture war symbols at schools, but the governor said that the Utah State Board of Education is a better place for regulations to make classrooms both more politically neutral and more welcoming to every student to exercise their own individual freedom of expression. Cloudy skies and scattered showers continuing, but we will get a break on Sunday before more rain and snow for next week. I'm Will Feelright with your KVNU News Update.
I'm Christine Lisi. With just under a month to go before the NFL draft kicks off, Pro Football Hall of Famer and Colorado football coach Deion Sanders says he's not trying to steer his quarterback son Shedeur to any specific destination. Told the Skip Bayless show he'd be happy wherever his son lands because he knows what he'll do to the organization. When asked specifically if he'd try to orchestrate where Shedeur is drafted, Deion said no. Shedeur is widely expected to be taken in the first round next month. Unsportsmanlike co-host Chris Canty.
By saying that he's willing to play anywhere, I think Deion is drumming up the market and trying to get a team to move into that number 4 slot with New England, to do the dance with them to trade up in order to take his son, whether that team is the New York Jets or the Las Vegas Raiders or the New Orleans Saints, all quarterback-needy teams. I think that's what Deion Sanders is doing with this approach. I think Deion is trying to get his son drafted as high as he possibly can, and that number 4 slot is starting to feel like the ceiling for Shedeur Sanders in this year's draft.
Currently, the Titans, Browns, and Giants also in need of a quarterback, draft 1, 2, and 3 respectively. Raiders pick 6th, the Jets 7th, and the Saints 9th. One of the best shooters in the transfer portal is Kentucky bound. Former Tulane wing Cam Williams told ESPN's Jonathan Givony he's committed to coach Mark Pope and the Wildcats. His combo of size, length, perimeter shooting, defensive versatility, and youth has drawn attention from NBA scouts this season, and Lexington does give him a significant platform to improve his NBA standing, which Williams says is one of the reasons he picked Pope and the Wildcats. Kentucky will see 6 of its 7 top scorers graduate this offseason. NHL winger Brad Marchand set to make his Panthers debut tonight against Utah. Marchand, acquired from Boston ahead of the trade deadline, has been out since March 1st with an upper body injury. Florida is tied with Tampa Bay for second in the Atlantic Division, each a point behind Toronto.
Hey golfers, are you ready for the golf season? Birch Creek's punch passes are on sale at the spring sale price, currently at a $20 discount, and are on sale through March 31st. Visit birchcreekgolf.com and purchase your punch pass online. Birch Creek's punch passes never expire and are valid 7 days a week. So if you love golf, call Birch Creek today or visit birchcreekgolf.com and purchase your punch pass at the spring sale price. That's Birch Creek Golf Course in Smithfield.
It's the Garden Guide on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102.1 FM.
And we welcome you back to the Garden Guide on this Saturday, 29th of March. Here we are. We were talking earlier about how March is just about over, and it's definitely time to start getting in those spring plants. In fact, Mark, as you were saying, March is the time to do it. So you've got today and Monday.
Well,
and that's it.
You got tomorrow, too.
Tomorrow and Monday.
Tomorrow. Dad always said, the better the day, the better the deed. When it came to gardening.
Yep.
And really, if you do it right, gardening is not work.
No.
It's fun. And it's enjoyable. I'm not going to go out and till my whole garden, tomorrow on Sunday, but I'll tell you what, if I don't get stuff planted today, I might be out throwing some seeds out there. Just drop a couple seeds out, kick a little dirt on top of it, and boom, stuff starts to grow. It starts coming up. So onion plants, we've got a great shipment of onions in this last week, and they're running out. So we're probably going to run out of a couple varieties of onions today if we haven't already. But I got more that shipped yesterday, and so they should be here probably Tuesday or Wednesday.
Okay.
So we got another shipment of onions coming Tuesday or Wednesday. So all the varieties will be back in stock Tuesday or Wednesday. We just got both of our varieties of asparagus in. So Jersey Night for green ones and some Purple Passion for purple asparagus. If you've never grown the purple asparagus, you got to try it. It is awesome. It's really, really good. And then all of our small fruits have shown up. So we've got gooseberries and currants, and we've got blackberries and black raspberries and golden raspberries and regular raspberries and strawberries. They're honeyberries. They're all here. They're all ready to go. The only thing we're waiting for is grapes, and grapes are supposed to show up this week, so they should be shown anytime. And so we're just kind of waiting for those grapes, and they're a little slow coming out of New York because their weather's not been great, so they were 2 weeks behind getting stuff out to us. So that's one of those things we got to just deal with in the spring. Just sometimes they just show up late. And so those are all in. And then all of our fruit trees are here. Just got a new shipment of fruit trees in yesterday that we're trying to get tagged and ready to sell. So I got more varieties that arrived yesterday that we haven't had in stock. And I've got another shipment of bare root trees coming in, hopefully this week. I got my fingers crossed. They've been really slow getting them out as well, too. These were supposed to ship the week of the 10th of March, and it looks like they're going to ship the 1st of April instead. Yeah, so that's like 3 weeks late, so I'm not thrilled with them at the moment. But, again, we'll take them when they show up.
Whenever they come.
Yeah, and then on top of that, this year, first time ever, 5-gallon shade and flowering trees, 30% off for a early season, kick off the year, great sale. Saves you 30% on some beautiful flowering trees that are starting to bloom right now, and some shade trees that are all starting to leaf out. And I think we've got 35 varieties of flowering and shade trees.
Okay.
30% off. Yeah, 30% off. So it gets them really close to the same price as the bare root fruit trees, but they're in 5-gallon pots. They're already established, so they're just more expensive to begin with. And so some really, really great pricing on our flowering and our shade trees. And it doesn't get better than right now to plant the trees. I mean, they've been outside for the last month. They are acclimated. They are ready to go. So you throw those out in your landscape and boom,
and they're ready.
They take off. Yeah.
Okay.
They're just going to take off. And of course, we've got lots of people in getting seeds. Potatoes are in. Like everything's here, ready to go. Vegetable plants. We've got cabbage. We've got kale. We've got broccoli. We've got Brussels sprouts, cauliflower. You name it. I think we might even have some pea sprouts out there in the greenhouse as well too, which are kind of fun to plant. So I'm planting a new variety of peas this year. We tried it last year and it was really, really good. It has lots of little tendrils on it. So I had some people that tried it and they came in and they're like, those are the weirdest looking peas I've ever seen. But it's called the variety's actually called PL. I think it's 595, and that was a really good producer. Like it produced like crazy. The pods were big, really high quality peas. It was probably one of the better varieties that we've planted for a long time.
You've tried.
It was really, really good, but it looked kind of funky out in the garden. Yeah. With all these little tendrils. So it's a great climber. It just grabbed onto our trellis and just like climbed right up it. But my favorite's still Cascadia. That snap pea is just, it's so good.
Really good.
Yeah. It's amazing. Yeah. It's so delicious.
Okay.
Yeah. So good time to get out there and do some planting. This weekend is perfect time, and the weather's good too.
Yeah, just checking the weather models. Looks like we've got a little bit of rain coming in around the noon hour.
Yeah.
But really only about a 30 to 40% chance of showers today.
Perfect.
So clouds are about all you're going to deal with, and so we'll take it because next week.
Yeah.
Rain and maybe some snow.
That's kind of foggy in the valley too.
Yeah, a little haze. And
it's
a lot of dust.
Kind of interesting. Yeah, it's like you look across here and go, God, it's the wind blowing.
Yeah, a lot of haze that came in yesterday. So, well, we've been talking with Doug Washburn from Agrono-Tec Technologies about grass and a lot of things. You know, we were mentioning earlier, Doug, as people are starting to get out and start taking care of the lawns now that the snow is melting. I'm sure one of the questions that you get is, if you're not one to fertilize all the time, what's the best fertilizer for the beginners, so to speak?
Well, the best fertilizer for the beginners. Well, me personally, I like a little ammonium sulfate early in the spring just to wake the grass up. It's readily available, easily absorbed into the plant, and it gives it a bit of a kick. But complete fertilizers, those that have NPK and micronutrients and macronutrients, is a good way to go.
We love to like recommend to our customers early on slow release nitrogen, like a 60% sulfur coated urea with 5% iron in there, because the iron really greens the lawn up, makes it look amazing without making it grow so fast. Yeah. So that nice slow release. And if you get a good slow release nitrogen like our 23-316 that we sell, has that 5% chelated iron in it, but you're going to get 10 weeks of a slow release nitrogen out of 8 to 10 weeks. So you get 2 months of a nice controlled green, and it really, really gets your lawn looking good.
That's a very good analysis, 23-316. Our soils are naturally high in phosphorus.
Yeah.
So you don't need to put an abundance of phosphorus on.
The high potassium is great for drought tolerance.
Exactly. And then the slow release that you're talking about, the sulfur-coated ureas, sulfur is great to mix with oxygen, and you get sulfuric acid, which is a great way for plants to have some disease resistance and stuff like that. So, so that's a very good fertilizer, slow release. So you get a sustained growth rate. You're not getting that spike of growth that everyone has to cancel their vacations on because they got to mow the lawn.
Yeah.
Mow every 4 to 5 days, Oh, we got to get back. We got to mow the lawn.
Yeah.
So,
got to get back and mow the lawn now. So, so anyway, so that's a very good product that Mark's got right there, and apply it according to the label, and you'll be in good shape.
Yeah. And we like to partner that with the humic. And so that humic acid really really helps break down thatch. It breaks down, grass clippings. It frees up nutrient, makes it available to the plants. It's got lots of microbes and microorganisms and micronutrients and minerals that it puts back into the soil. So really makes your turf and your gardens and your flower beds like really healthy. It activates the soil, gets things going. And so then I like to put that on early, and then about a couple of weeks later, I'll throw that fertilizer on, and then my fertilizer really reacts. And boy, the turf looks so good. And when it's healthy like that, it doesn't need as much water, doesn't have the bug problems. I don't get weeds in there. Just makes a huge difference when you have a nice consistent fertilization program.
Well, I want to say this, that the people of Cache Valley are very lucky to have Anderson Seed, and particularly Mark, in their community, because if you go to other parts of the state, there's no place like Cache Valley. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful place. And a lot of it, I think, is due to the love that the people of the community have for their environment. And it really shows. It really shows.
It does. And there's really no other place in Utah or the Intermountain West quite like Anderson Seed.
Yeah.
there just isn't.
No.
We've been all over the place. I mean, every time we travel, we'll stop and we'll go into garden centers, and it's just like there's nobody else out there that does what we do. There's just very few.
Exactly right. And I'm not stroking you because of whatever, but I'm just saying. And in my travels selling seed and stuff, Mark is a guy who's looking for the cutting edge and looking for the better product that can make the community a better place. And he really does know what he's talking about. And
thanks, Doug. Doug.
And it shows in the products that he sells, and those who take his teachings will have a beautiful, beautiful lawn. And I say lawn because he sells more seed than anyone else in the state, and
Thank you, Doug.
And there's a reason. Well, and there's a reason, because he's been teaching the people of the community that if you don't let this grass grow to seed, then you've got to supplement, and it's essential to the life cycle of the plant to have new progeny there to take over. And he understands that.
Absolutely.
He understands that.
We try and find those new products, the cutting edge, like you say. It's like, let's try new things and see what's available. And we've been able to experiment with some really amazing products. And what's interesting is a lot of the old organics are starting to come back, because science has figured out how to release that nutrient so much faster. So we're using, lots of mycorrhiza and lots of beneficial microbes and microorganisms, just some really beneficial biology to put into your soil, whether it's turf or whether it's vegetable gardens or flowers. And the results that you're getting out of it are just amazing, because we're feeding the soil. And then the soil is breaking that nutrient down and making it available to the plants. And so the process is working so much better. But I mean, at Anderson's, our goal, our motto, our mission is to help people be more successful out in their garden. And so for us to be able to go out there and find new products and new grass varieties and new varieties of trees that are, more resistant to the things that we're dealing with, I mean, that's what we're all about, is trying to find that new stuff that's really going to make people more successful. So I appreciate you saying that, Doug. Thank you.
Well, it's true. And something else that people might want to play with and get educated to is the use of clovers. If you remember going to your grandfather's old yard as you were a child back in the 60s or early 70s, but 50s, your grandfather's lawn always had a touch of clover in it. And that's where they got the nitrification. That's where they got the nitrogen. And it's very drought tolerant. But for those of you people who have a larger lawn area, you might want to integrate some clover into your turf environment.
Right. We've got clover, we've got micro clover and Andersons that we sell as well too. And how much more drought tolerant is the clover than say a standard turf grass? That's a question I've had people ask, and I was like, I know it's more drought tolerant, but I don't know exactly how much.
Yeah, I don't have an exact number, but I would say it's in the 35-40% range.
More tolerant.
Yeah, but the thing is that you've got to manage it. If you don't, it can take over. So you need to do what I call chemical pruning, and that's where you take a 2,4-D based product or something and just cut it back a little bit with the chemicals. It'll set it back, but it won't eliminate it.
Right.
So by kicking it back a little bit, you're pruning it, and like you would a tree or whatever.
Yeah.
And so oftentimes at the recommended rates of killing dandelions and stuff, those products will kill dandelions, but it will prune the clover. So
it'll suppress the clover just a little bit, but it won't eliminate it. Which
right.
we found it takes a couple applications, and in many cases it takes a lot stronger herbicide, a combo herbicide to really do that. And the clover is very attractive, and it handles wear and tear pretty well, and it puts a lot of nitrogen back into the soil to really green your turf up and keep it healthy.
Yeah, and then as Mark and I were talking a week or so ago, in our travels in other countries or wherever, you see a lot of English daisies in the turf environment, and that's extremely beautiful and colorful and stuff. And so it might be that if you have a large turf area, you might consider sprinkling a little daisy out there just for looks and stuff. It's called landscaping, and something to consider.
Yeah, quite pretty. I do have a few customers that have transferred their lawn from traditional turf grasses to yarrow as well too, like the really low growing yarrow, and it creates a really interesting lawn. It's really soft to walk on, but it is pretty aggressive. It spreads all over the place, so that's an interesting option as well too. So new varieties of grass that are really drought tolerant that our listeners should probably really take a look at and do some research on about maybe replacing their grass and doing something a little bit different than their traditional bluegrass.
Well, the answer to that is the dwarf tall fescues. It's it should have been the grass for Utah hundreds of years ago, but it should be highly considered now with the lifestyle that people have and the desire to save some water. 5-foot long root system. It's got a blade that's similar to bluegrass.
Right.
Non-aggressive, bug resistance. It's a grass that should be highly considered in the decision making.
Yeah, it's a little bit stiffer than Kentucky bluegrass. Yes, just like a little bit, but it's still like
right.
You walk barefoot on it, like no problem. So.
Oh, sure, and again, I would for those people that give it the traffic test or the foot test, I think they'll be fine with it.
Yeah. And for drought tolerance, we're talking you could water it once a week and it would be
easy
green all summer long. You could probably go 12 or 14 days and it would stress just a little bit, but grass just is very, very resilient when it comes to less and less water to keep it looking good.
Yeah. So that should be a high on the list of choice.
The turf list. And we've got the dwarf tall fescue in our Eden mix. and that has a very aggressive drought-tolerant bluegrass in it as well, too, doesn't it, Doug?
Yes, it does. When I came up with that product, I gave it the slogan, ideal for kids and dogs, and it really is. Came up with it in the late 80s, so that's many centuries ago for some people.
but the varieties of grass have changed a little bit since then.
We've updated it, but the concept is that bluegrass has drought avoidance and tall fescue has drought tolerance. And so they complement each other very well in a tight water situation. Grass has got the creeping ability, which is helpful.
Self-repairing.
Yeah, but the tall fescue has the bug resistance and salt tolerance and shade tolerance and a lot of other.
And we have all of that in Cache Valley. So we've got the salts in the soil. We've got shady locations. We've got full sun, hot, dry locations. We've got the insect problems. I mean, you change your grass out for a new variety like Eden, and you're going to eliminate your insect applications. You're going to be able to cut your water back by 50% and still keep your lawn green and grow in different conditions a little bit better than the grass you've got currently.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah,
so,
that's the way it goes. Well, our show, we're just about done, Will. We got like, what, a couple minutes?
Just a few minutes left. Doug, we really appreciate you joining us on the Garden Guide on this Saturday morning, and it's always fun to talk grass with you. And I think in 30 seconds or so, Doug, for someone who says, but it's got to be so hard to replace my turf, can you just once again reassure people how easy it is?
Oh, it's extremely, extremely easy. If they want to spray out their entire lawn with Roundup,
which I've done,
they might
easy to do.
One or two applications, perhaps, and then you scalp it to the ground, and then you sprinkle the seed over the top of it. Add a little peat moss or something on top of that, and water. Add water. I mean, it's that simple.
All of a sudden, you got new grass coming up like crazy. So, yeah. And this time of year, it takes a long time for the grass to germinate. So we're talking 14 to 21 days. But if you do this the end of July, I mean, you got grass up in 5 days. It's like really, really quick and super easy to do. And we've done exactly that, Doug, in the middle of summer to replace some areas of our grass where we just didn't like the turf that was there. And we replaced it with a new, drought tolerant, insect disease resistant grass that's really green. And it's the best looking part of my lawn. Like, it looks so good. It's greened up faster than the rest of the turf. I can see exactly where we put that new grass. And it was that easy. After we scalped it, we brought a little bit of topsoil in and just put it right over the dead grass. So we didn't even have to till the turf up. We just brought a little bit of topsoil in, fixed some low spots and some high spots. We just kind of were able to regroom it just a little bit.
Break it a little.
Yeah, and then seeded it, and boom, a week later we had new grass back.
Yeah, so easy.
Yeah.
Well, Doug, we look forward to talking to you again later on in the season. Thank you so much. Enjoy the slightly warmer weather down there in St. George. And, of course, we'll be thinking of you this summer when we're enjoying the nicer temperatures than you are.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
All right.
You too.
We'll see you out on the golf course, Doug. Thank you.
All right, well, we've got just about 90 seconds left, Mark, and for people who are just joining us, a reminder, the Bare Root Fruit Tree Sale and the Bare Root Tree Sale going on right now, and the Bare Root Fruit Trees will be available for probably the next 2 weeks, so don't wait, because it saves you about 25% off of the potted price, and so it's a great time to do it. The trees are all dormant or just barely starting to break dormancy, and so it's a perfect time for planting. And we have cherries and peaches and apricots and nectarines and plums and apples and pears, and I even have some mulberries if you want to try something different. I've got some pluots, which is a cross between a plum and an apricot, has some really great flavor, and we have some plueries, which is a cherry apricot combo.
it looks like a plum, but
it's actually
kind of tastes like a cherry.
Mm.
Yeah, it's like they're really good. So we've got some fun new things to try as well too. Nut trees are in, so we've got some walnuts, we've got some almonds, we've got some filberts that look really good. So we're ready to go at Anderson Seed and Garden. It's time to get outside and do some planting.
All right. Well, and join us next week for the Garden Guide here on KVNU.
Know about it. Talk about it.
This nation belongs to all of us.
News Talk KVNU.